image of me. In one glance you won't see my true identity. And when our eyes meet, judgments are made. Society dictates.
Hi, this is Diana with very unfierce hair for your Celebrity Apprentice recap. Today they were promoting the Chi Touch hair dryer, which had NASA innovations and a touch screen. And I thought to myself, I need a blow dryer that will dry my hair without frizzing it. That's what I need. It doesn't need to interface with my computer, and it doesn't have to send me to the moon. I just need it to dry my hair. That's all. Okay, so the teams are project manager for Team Unanimous is Theresa Guidice, and project manager for Team Forte is Lisa Lampanelli. Now they have to meet in order to decide what models they're going to get, and Lisa Lampanelli could care less what model she gets, but the minute she hears that Theresa wants a specific model, she decides to screw with her. Not because it will actually give her a strategic advantage or do anything for her, but because it's fun to mess with people. It's fun to push people around and show just how superior and smart you are, because that's what Lisa gets off on. That's Lisa's thing, and that whole little thing about the models was about Lisa having a good laugh. That's all. It didn't do anything for Team Forte in any way. Okay, so the executives come to each of the war rooms. When they come into Team Unanimous's war room, Theresa says to Farouk, "Hi, Farouk," and he says, "It's Farouk." Starting off on a bad foot there. They explain the concept, and of course Aubrey instantly comes up with a concept, and she is getting models because Theresa didn't get the models Aubrey wanted, so Aubrey went and got models that she wanted. And then, later on, decided, I might as well be the model, and a model shows up that they got, and they sent her away. Kind of annoying to the model that got sent away. So Aubrey comes up with the concept, writes everything, does it's the Aubrey show all over again, and Theresa seriously is looking at Aubrey every 5 seconds. Well, what do you think of this? Do you think this? Do you think that? Do you think this? It was ridiculous. Theresa wasn't a good project manager. She's got this very mousy, it's just, I think she defies her on-air persona for Real Housewives, because I understood her, I don't watch the show, so I understood her to be this tough woman, and I haven't seen tough from day one. And you can be tough without being Lisa Lampanelli in the same time. So Arsenio is taking some pictures, and he's doing some things, but it's Theresa and Aubrey trying on clothes. There's Aubrey sitting there with her boobs hanging out and thinking it's so cute. I know I have my boobs out in a room full of, men and women and cameras, but, I'm so cute that it's going to be okay. Ugh. And then over on Team Forte, Lisa Lampanelli made me spit out my wine tonight, because she says she looked at the dryer and thought to herself, wow, there's more than what meets you when you look at it. There's more beneath the surface than what you see. And that's sort of like what happens to women. They're more than just a pretty face. There is something below the surface, and women get stereotyped like that all the time. You mean like you did to Diana Mendoza from day one? Is that what you mean? Where you hated on her for her pretty face and wouldn't give her a chance in any way, shape, or form? You mean that stereotyping, Lisa? Yeah, that. I found it so hypocritical for Lisa, a week after Diana gets fired, to put up an ad campaign that promoted women love them even if they're beautiful, because there's more to them than their looks. They have thoughts and ideas and expressions. Wow, what a concept, Lisa. Nice of you to finally join the rest of the world. So, here's what happens. The presentation from Theresa was just awful. Awful, awful, awful. She couldn't read the cards. She was nervous. She was stumbling over her words. it just fell really flat. So flat, so bad. She was drowning so bad that if you looked over her shoulder, there was Aubrey O'Day standing right next to Arsenio Hall, slowly leaning her head on Arsenio's shoulder. Now, when you know those two were cuddling up, it ain't going well because they don't like each other. So there she is, leaning her head like, oh, we're dying here. I thought that was funny. So Aubrey steps up, she does her thing, Arsenio steps up, he does his thing, and they leave. In comes Lisa and Clay Aiken, and they do their presentation. It looks good. They have lots of information on their flyer thingy. It's a 4-page layout, and theirs was well, but their presentation itself was just kind of like, yeah, here's your product, here's what we thought, and here you go. Thanks, have a nice day. There was no passion, no connection. They weren't really promoting this item. In the end, Lisa's team wins. Lisa explains to Mr. Trump in the boardroom, who knew that this whole thing went down with Theresa and Lisa about getting the models. And Lisa's like, it was just a joke. It wasn't really important. And for some reason, they made it into some importance when it really didn't have anything to do with anything. So, long story short, Lisa's team wins. Clay and Lisa leave the boardroom, happy as can be, and then they watch the team. And then there's Lisa in the war room going, you know, you just can't fight with an unarmed person. Again, using the stupid word. Lisa loves the stupid word. She loves being intellectually superior to other people and looking down her nose at people she thinks are stupid. They may not be as cunning. They may not be as business savvy, but stupid is a big word that covers a lot of things, and I think Lisa misuses that word along with a lot of others. So, Theresa wants Arsenio fired because she feels like he didn't do anything, and Arsenio fights back and he says, you don't even know what I was doing because I was taking pictures, you were nowhere around. People were coming up and asking me if I was the project manager. Theresa says she thinks that's a lie. Aubrey sat over to the side kind of like, I'm out of this one because I know I ain't getting fired. So in the end, Theresa gets fired. They go back into the war room, and they're celebrating, and then the phone rings, and Lisa's face is like, huh? They all get called back in, and now it's time for them to do their interviews with John Rich and Marlee Matlin, the winners of last year's Celebrity Apprentice. And I thought these interviews were very telling, and I already know the results, so I don't want to give away too much, but the interviews were very telling in the amount of money raised, because this cast has spent so much time trying to one-up each other, trying to prove who's intellectually superior, that raising money for their charities became a second priority for most of them. I mean, once they won, they were like, oh good, I have money for my charity. But during the task, it was about ego. It was about them being the best and not about their charity and not about their teammates' charities. Let's not work to the best of our ability so that we win and another charity gets money. It was about ego, ego, ego all the way through. So John Rich and Marlee Matlin point out that between them, they raised $2 million during their season. And these teams aren't even, I mean, some of them have not raised $100,000. Most of them have not raised $100,000. It's a very low fundraising year for Celebrity Apprentice, and I really think it's that nonstop fighting that went on this season has a lot to do with that. So, the interviews are very misleading. I mean, Lisa's interview, she's sitting there and she's acting like she's John Rich's best buddy, like they were out at a bar. I mean, she's like joking with him, and she again is continuing to use curse words in an interview. Who uses curse words in an interview? Seriously, she just doesn't even know when to rein it in at this point. So she's using curse words when she talked to Marlee Matlin and when she talked to John Rich. It's just nothing she has done. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care what a good writer you are. It doesn't matter when you cannot act appropriate in a boardroom, in a business situation. You cannot fly off the handle and act the way she does and succeed in life. It just doesn't work that way. And, you know, So, Clay Aiken's interview looked a little rougher than I thought it should. I mean, it looked like they were really going after him. Aubrey O'Day's interview, I thought, looked a lot better than it should. And Arsenio's, so they kind of skewed the interviews to make them look like the guys were getting grilled and the women were looking good. In the end, Lisa Lampanelli got fired. Oh, happy day. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so here's the thing. Isn't it sweet justice that just last week her nemesis Diana Mendoza was fired, and this week Lisa is. Lisa couldn't wait to rub it in a couple times during the show. When Donald Trump Jr. came in, she was like, oh, I can't tell you how nice this is. And immediately he moved her on because she wanted to gloat about Diana not being around. And he was like, show me the project. So it just found it to be very sweet that Lisa Lampanelli and Theresa Guidice went home earlier. Lisa went home, and I think she was quite shocked at that. And I know who goes home at the beginning of the next show. Keep my mouth shut. And catch me next week for Celebrity Apprentice, because it's going to be a good one. All right, bye.
Judgments are made, society